people of a certain age, so they started dividing us by our birth years. And
Go ahead and
now
go
we're all-
live. Oh, he did.
I already did go live.
But in
Yeah,
fairness,
type it in
in
the-
fairness, Dad, you were born
Type
at
it in the
like 40
comments.
years old. Like by the time you were 10, you were
What are you
already
talking about?
elderly. I'm
He
talking
means-
about
He means you got an old soul.
yeah, I'm talking about how weird you were as a little kid.
How
I've heard
dare you? You
stories.
just got finished saying
How dare
that
you.
whenever we talk about boomer stuff, you don't know what we're talking about. And
How
now
dare
you
you.
deem to tell me what I was like
Well, I'm just
a
passing
full
it on from what
15 years before you were born. You're going to tell me what I was like.
I've heard. 15 years. Yeah, I've heard that you were kind of a weird kid
From who?
from your mom.
She doesn't
What-
know
Got
me.
sources.
Weird doesn't mean old, though. What was it that made him seem old?
Well,
for his
he
age?
was the kid who followed the rules, and like his younger brother was more, and still is more, like traditionally rambunctious boy, evil. but Dad was the one that they would like hand him something that they needed to be used responsibly, and he actually would, or they'd trust him with things like
They would hand me artifacts and scrolls, and I would interpret them.
John, we need our taxes done. I'm on the
We've got an archaeological dig, and we
Where's
need
the
you to
adding
go.
machine?
Right. No, the story I heard that kind of is
I like the
solidified
way
in my
Juwan
head.
thinks my voice sounded.
Well, that's what reminded me of the story about I heard from Grandma that there was some kids fighting on the park playground. There were some older kids fighting, and you didn't think that was very nice of them, but you were really small, like 4 years old or 5 years old, and these bigger kids were like all fighting, and you didn't have any other recourse but to just run through the circle of people and yell, "Here comes Johnny!"
Okay. So you were 5 and you'd already seen The Shining?
How did that work out? Did it change things? Was
I think it probably surprised him enough to at least
They punched over
pause.
you. They just reached over you and punched each other.
that was the best you could do.
He did his
guess.
best.
I
So that's
guess that-
not that's not weird. It's just he did his best. That's the motto of his life.
Also, I was 4. I mean, how many squared away 4-year-olds do you know that are on the beam and
He was on
you know,
it. He was
say
already there.
things?
He
say
would read
things
the
that-
politics and papers, in the newspaper.
Say things that need to be contemplated. Everybody, quiet down. The 4-year-old's about to speak.
That
Let's hear what
Jimmy
he's-
Carter's not doing it, man. He can't got it. Panama Canal.
I was actually a fan of Jimmy Carter. I remember in
Oh, really?
whatever it was. Well, I didn't know anything about politics, but I
My
thought,
dad
yeah,
hated
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter seems like a nice guy, and I always thought that
Oh,
Richard Nixon always looked kind of like a villain to
Angry,
me. But
yeah.
that was it. It was based purely on physical appearance.
And there you go. He knew
Carter
who
had-
Jimmy Carter and Richard Nixon were. He was
Based on how
barely
they
out of
look.
diapers.
What about when Reagan came? What did you think of Ronald Reagan?
You voted for Reagan, didn't you?
Reagan was the first chance that I had to vote.
He
Yeah,
ever voted?
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going
So-
to start this theme song.
you're welcome, everybody.
Sign up if you dare, starring comics everywhere. Coming out of quarantine, so catch the vibe and dig the scene. Take a seat, gonna grab a snack, gonna kill the room, gonna talk some smack. Cutting it down like a lumberjack, come and take a ride in my Cadillac. Kicking it live on the radio, everybody got a right to know. This ain't my first rodeo, hit the spotlight, here we go. Are you ready for the show? 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 Kicking it live, so be our guest. Everybody gonna be so
Look at point.
Hey, welcome to SCQS, everybody. My name's Sean. That's Amanda over there. That's Joanne down in the corner. And joining us for a second week in a row, we're so happy Hans Fiene has agreed to be seen publicly.
Did you notice I put him backstage last week so you could introduce him, but this week I'm like,
and this week he gets nothing. He gets no
That's
love.
How quickly
They
you
call
go.
that in the sitcoms like a featured guest. He's a featured.
Yeah.
He's not a guest anymore. You belong here.
Yeah, chopped liver.
Thanks.
I think they call it.
Yes, you've been downgraded to regular.
You're just one of us now, Hans. That's it. Nothing special. Last 1.5 hours home from seeing the family, and they're gonna watch SCQS. Wow.
In
That's
the
very
car.
sweet.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Watching
Gaffneys.
in Georgia.
We know John is so handsome that you're going to be tempted to just keep your eyes on him for the whole drive.
Just
but-
stare at me. And
Here
gotta
comes
resist.
Johnny.
I'm also apparently very old and was born this way.
You've always been old.
I've always been old. So Hans, we were watching some Lutheran satire today at the
Oh,
Peaches
good.
house.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did. One of my favorite Lutheran satires. They're all very good. They all have their benefits. That's the thing about Lutheran satire is there's different things about each of them that makes them compelling. But I have to say, if I was to boil it down to two, which is what people always do, you have to pick your favorite two. It would be either Clint Eastwood talking about modern worship songs,
Sure, yeah.
or it would be the devil talking to Krampus
Partially.
about
Yeah. The
Talking
Kenneth
to
Copeland's, yeah.
right.
The devil's Kenneth Copeland costume or something like that.
Right.
Yes, he's-
Devil's
Ah,
Kenneth Copeland
yeah.
disguise.
Yeah.
The devil is talking to Krampus in hell about a new disguise he's come up
Yeah.
with to fleece people, and oh, it's so funny.
Thank you.
I think
Yeah.
it's funny to me because I've sent that video to a couple of people, and in both cases, or all three cases, they didn't even know who Kenneth Copeland was. So then we had to backtrack
It is
and go
weird how,
find
like-
a video of Kenneth.
Yeah, it's a strange. That's actually, I think, very much a generational thing where, like, he makes so much money fleecing, 85-year-old women, but yet under a certain age, no one has any clue who he is.
Yeah.
So, like, I've had people who are like, I don't know who that guy is, but that seemed kind of mean. And I'm like, no, just go watch him for 15
Right.
seconds. You will
After
see that I was
you
right.
show them, that's when they're like, "Oh my
Who's the
gosh,
big
I
guy
thought
too?"
this was satire.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to exaggerate." It's like, I know.
I
right?
tried so hard. I couldn't do it. You can't satirize that guy.
We were commenting about how the distorted cartoony picture of him actually looks a little better than he does in real life.
Right, yeah. You would think, if you didn't know who he was, you'd think like, well, that wasn't very nice of you to, Photoshop his face to make him look like, no, I did not do that. It was good lighting for him.
He actually
No,
looks
solid.
better as a caricature.
Yeah.
Kenneth Copeland Ministries will be contacting Lutheran Satire for content. Can you
Yeah.
post for us on Instagram?
So if you guys haven't seen any of the Lutheran satire stuff, you should go look at it. All right, so we have a gigantic show
Huge.
tonight.
So much show.
So much show.
Does it fit into a mammoth?
It doesn't. It's barely going to fit. But if a whatever this is, mammoth, is that what I was told it is?
it's a mammoth, yeah.
If
You call it
that
a woolly
creature-
elephant. What'd you call it last time? You called it a woolly
Called it a
mastodon.
woolly mastodon.
That's just not right. The woolly mammoth. That one doesn't look especially woolly though. Maybe.
You got
The same one. It's the same one as last week.
Can you imagine if you were a woolly mammoth with alopecia, and everyone's like, "So you're just a regular elephant?" And
Elephant.
You,
Yeah.
No.
Like, no, guys. No, I'm telling you, I'm a mammoth. Whatever, bro.
What
Tell
kind of
yourself
mammoth?
whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
We
If
can't
this-
tell how woolly this is because we got to stand back because of how big the show is.
We got to
this-
put it into forced perspective thing.
If this balding mastodon represents a typical show,
Alopecia.
tonight's show looks a little something like this.
There we go.
Wasn't that last week's?
That was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I
a
just noticed his
noble-
gloved hand, and I don't care for that in the slightest.
No,
It looks like he's wearing a doctor's.
Oh,
glove.
you don't like the fact that it could get messy.
I just,
He
well, I
doesn't-
just, yeah. If you're gonna wear
doesn't-
murder gloves,
he doesn't
like,
want his
don't
prints
wear.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I picked this
noble,
one
though.
was because I think you were especially put out by his waddle, right?
Yeah, I don't like that either. Yeah. I'm
Well, the other
uncomfortable
one's
with
got a little more uncomfortable.
it. Yeah.
There was another
This
one.
was the best one, though.
yeah, out of
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah. Your options are never great with AI generated.
Yeah, Tabby thinks you should have put a picture of Kenneth
Not
up there
Kenneth.
so
I wonder-
people could know
have
what
you
we're
AI'd
talking about.
Have you AI'd Kenneth Copeland yet? In any
No, let's give that a shot. I'll do that while you guys are talking.
Say no more. Hans is on it.
The question is, will we get to anything else? That's how big this show's already gotten. It's already bigger than it was.
Well, that's what happens. I always have at least a rough outline of where we're going to go and what we're going to do. But honest to goodness, we've had the weird news has been in the can for 4 weeks now. I've had these same.
So it's not even
weird
news.
news articles
Weird
for
history, I think we need to just call it. After a
So
month.
I don't know. I don't even hardly know
After
what
a
to do.
month of 24-hour news cycles. That's history, bro.
We can never get to it. We could because
Or it's been different.
because somebody will throw a AI generated turkey
Curveball.
with a sword up on there, and then we have to talk about that.
I thought he looked distinguished until he pointed out the latex gloves, and now it did make me nervous. He's like a gentleman killer.
And now it makes you nervous. All 4 of those turkeys were the things that nightmares are made of. None of them were especially.
Well,
Yeah.
right, but the prompt was
Attractive.
like murder turkeys or something like that. So it wasn't friendly,
Yeah, it would have been.
It wasn't comfort turkeys. That's a thing that should exist.
Hey,
Next time I go flying, I want to just bring a service turkey onto the plane with me.
So-
Like he helps with
Didn't
my
somebody
anxiety.
do that?
My 12-year-old was
turkey.
about to do a school assembly where she had to do a presentation, and we're all sitting waiting for her turn to go up, and she goes, "I am really nervous," and I was like, "Are you?" And she's like, "Yeah," but then she pats her side, and she's got a pocket full of something, and she opens it and shows me. She goes, "But I've got my emotional support starbursts."
Nice.
She's got a pocket full of candy. I was like, "Good, glad you
Emotional
can
support-
feel safe."
I think that somebody actually did bring like a turkey or a goose or a swan or something
They
onto a
brought kinds
plane.
of
Yeah, I think it was a
Guinea
swan.
pigs.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And I also recall a story. This is a little macabre about somebody who brought a hamster. They brought a support hamster, and they weren't allowed to have it, and so they flushed it down the
What?
toilet, put it in the little sucker toilet, and
That seems
that
like
sounds
if you.
like a Facebook meme shared amongst boomers who
Oh,
are
can
who are
you
afraid
believe?
That, yeah.
whew,
If you
good
don't-
thing
if you
I'm
don't-
not one of
These
those.
millennials.
Yeah.
For you to give up your emotional support animal so quickly and so violently, if that actually happened, it's like, oh, okay. Wait, sir, we
Well, I think they were. I
have
think
a
they panicked.
program. We have.
I've got, by the way, I
boxes, you
have
can leave 'em.
I've got the first result. This is not very good. I feel like the guy in the
Kenneth
top
Copeland?
left.
You need to
Yeah.
work on it.
the
What's
Wait a
your-
guy in
minute.
the,
Okay, there it
Oh,
goes.
he's got it. I see it. There it is.
Oh,
the
it's
guy in
too
the
good.
top left. I feel like that
Little
looks
bit
like
George.
another
Oh.
televangelist who's a real person, but I don't remember.
Top right's a little George W. there.
Yeah, that that is a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit. This guy, bottom right though, is not so bad.
No,
Um,
bottom
was your
right's close.
prompt? You
yeah,
didn't
that's.
include
I just
money
put
in
Kenneth
there anywhere?
Copeland in a suit with exploding volcanoes, something like that.
Mordor.
Behind it. Yeah.
He's leaving his home in Mordor. His second,
I wondered-
third house, his
I
vacation.
wondered how
house.
the hellish background found its way into all of those pictures.
It was yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Gaffneys have it right. It was an emotional support peacock.
Male or
Tabby's knowing because of the hamster that
Well,
got flushed.
well, Juwan, I'm going to say this like I'm an expert in this, but I literally just learned this like 2 months ago because I think you were about to say male or female.
right?
Right, but all peacocks are males because the girls are called peahens.
Oh, good. Yes.
Doesn't that make you feel
you said
so
peacocks.
bad when you hear
That
that? You're like,
does
that, of course,
make
that's
sense.
right. But at the
Right.
same time, no, they're
Should've
not.
known.
They're peacocks. They're lady peacocks.
Well, it's like saying chicken. A rooster's a chicken. But
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got lady peacocks.
Yeah.
We should
Alright.
revisit this.
Peahens.
Who do we petition?
Weirdest animals, according to the Sun, that made it onto flights: baby horse, kangaroo. Oh, sorry, baby kangaroo, miniature
Yeah.
horse,
Baby
Okay.
kangaroos
a
start out.
pig. Here's a picture. I don't know if you can see the pig. There's a
Okay.
picture.
That's fine. That's cute. That's all right.
Yep. So those are three of them. Oh, a duck. That one's
Nice.
wearing slippers. I don't know if you can see the duck's slippers.
The duck has more. The duck has more courtesy for people than some people on airplanes that take their
Yeah.
shoes off.
I don't know what's weirder, that there's a duck on a plane or the duck is wearing slippers. I don't know.
Oh, and a turkey. On the
Oh
plane.
my gosh!
There he is. Yep.
What about a
And
turkey is
so-
soothing? Ducks, I get. Turkeys, not so.
I
much.
used to fall asleep to the pre-recorded warblings of turn it way down.
Oh, a woman flushed her hamster down the toilet after being told it couldn't go on the plane. So there you go.
Okay. So that was not a
Okay.
Facebook meme shed by people who.
No,
shared
this
it
was
so
on
Facebook
Google.
wouldn't own all of their.
No,
posts.
this is on Google.
Monkeys,
Of course
several
it's
of them.
And I remember thinking the same thing that Juwan thought. I remember thinking she must not have been too emotionally supported by
Or she had 12 of them at home. I got more of these.
Or just the thought of being separated from him immediately made her go deranged. Like she just snapped. And that was how badly she needed him.
I'm not
gonna have
this hamster, no one will.
And then she's pulling her own hair out and she was,
Like that psychotic,
shedding clothing and stuff. Yeah.
like that stalker rage that
they're like, maybe we should have let her keep the hamster.
Just give her the hamster. Now I'm sad because of the hamster.
disposable hamster. I'm writing that down.
That's a good song.
Disposable
Let me make a note.
That's a band name. though.
Disposable hamster. It is.
That's
the
that
kind of
song
video-
name? Song name, band name, album name. Disposable Hamster.
Oh yeah, self-titled album. You're right. That's
You'll
all-
write
I
it
got all
down
three.
and then like 3 days from now you'll be like, why did I write this?
I think if it's plural, disposable hamsters, that's an album name.
You'll never forget why you wrote down disposable hamster.
You totally will.
No one would ever
Oh.
forget that.
Oh, I got some good ones here, guys. So
Hey, he's been working this. How do you do that? You've been.
I took
you've been
I made a
engaged
different approach.
and AIing. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, hold on. I'll get
I'm
it
just-
to you here in just a second. So,
I'm
I'll get these.
astounded. I'm astounded.
Is this more Kenneth Copeland stuff or is this disposable hamster?
yeah. No, this is more Kenneth Copeland stuff. So here, hold on.
I knew he didn't like the first go around. So
I will
Yeah, it
bet
was
you.
not-
I will bet you that trying to come up with a picture of a disposable hamster might be a challenge in AI because it is hard to get it to do things that it perceives as,
you don't think
violent,
it's like
Yeah.
torturous.
like a row of like 3 or 4 hamsters and vacuum sealed.
Like a circular cylinder of them, and there's like you pull one out the top. And
Is
there's
it like a
another
fire
one underneath.
extinguisher thing in case of emergency?
Oh,
Break
like
a
a
brass. Yeah.
So here's what I told it to. I
Spin
uploaded an actual picture of Kenneth Copeland, and then I told
I'm
it
not
to,
seeing it.
to. Oh no, I haven't shared it yet. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Oh.
setting the stage here.
He's
So
building.
Okay.
I uploaded a picture of Kenneth Copeland, and then told it to turn it into a heavy metal album cover. And
Oh,
there you go. So that's pretty good.
It's Copeland.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's on the stage at Blackfest.
With special guest Guar.
And the face he made when you asked him about his private jet.
Oh my stars! That was unbelievably
God told me to get
Yeah, I
that
know.
jet.
That's pretty
unbelievably
fantastic.
good. And the problem is that if people have never actually heard of
Right.
Kenneth Copeland, they won't appreciate that for
Right. Yeah.
for the excellence that it was.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's the frustrating thing about being so good at making fun of him, is that like on the one hand you want to protect people from it. But on the other hand, you're like, can you go and ruin your day by learning about the worst person on earth
Well-
so that you can appreciate my jokes?
Would
we
you-
get flagged if we
kill
show that.
you to. Yeah.
We could show that interview of him, and that pretty much could tell you everything.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
there's lots of like compilation videos which are really helpful. Sometimes they've got like a heavy metal background music.
Oh, that's the one. The guy that, that guy's great. That does.
Yeah.
That interview he did with that chicken, they were like at an airplane hangar or something, weren't they? It looked like they were outside somewhere.
Yeah, where he's like, he looks like he's about to murder. He's like, I probably shouldn't do that on camera.
It's surreal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a thing that makes me go, okay, he has been in the public, and he has to be aware of the criticisms. He has to be aware of all of it.
I'm 100% convinced he's demon possessed. You can see it in the way he shifts in that video from like shaking his finger in the girl's face to then he tilts his head and suddenly smiles. It's like it's absolutely demonic. Juwan, how are your metal shredding skills?
I can play really fast, but it doesn't necessarily gonna be matched with anything.
Okay.
Like it was like,
Yeah.
that was about it. I can do blues really well, but
Okay.
Are you guys going to do a compilation? That would be fantastic.
That would be a good.
Well, I can do
do a metal
the chug thing. The chug, chug, chug. I can do the rhythm.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
The chug thing.
Yeah.
You do the chug.
That's just
yeah.
I've always wondered, like the bands that have the guy who's just like right, and he just does that the whole time.
Yeah.
And presumably there are some of those bands where that guy's a good singer, and in other bands the guy who does that is a bad singer. And I bet if you talk to people who are into that music, they're like, no, that guy can't sing.
No.
And then you're like,
Well,
you got to check out this guy. Like, that was amazing.
Let's A/B it. Let's listen to one and then the other, and then maybe. Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's
Clearly
not
he's
called
superior.
singing, is it? Isn't that called growling?
It's
Yeah.
punk.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like that. It would ruin your voice. You guys, if you're gonna make a career out of this, you got to sing songs. Like we've all seen. I saw a band in concert. I won't tell you who they were many years ago, but they sang a song about prayers that one might live upon, and the lead singer, and he's great back in his heyday, but he just blew out his vocal cords throughout the years, and so they'd get to the chorus with the high notes. And he'd do the trick.
Just drop out.
Where you'd stick the mic out to the crowd. So you go, da, 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 and then it gets to the high part. I'm trying not to get copyright flagged.
You guys sing it here.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and so then you bail out. And you're watching it and you're like, we all know what you're doing. You're trying to trick us into thinking this is just fun, but we know that you can't hit those notes anymore.
Well, probably.
Can't you just drop it down a couple of octaves?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa! Living on a prayer.
I was literally doing this, like trying to find the right note to start on for my 5-year-old because he's going to audition for a musical using head and shoulders and knees and toes. And when it gets to eyes and ears and mouth and nose, he can never hit it. So we keep trying to go a little bit. Actually, it was the opposite. We have to keep going higher because he can't sing low enough for the first part to still be able to be comfortable.
Shoulders, knees, and toes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we tell him, like, his dad is like, sing like a man. Like, he keeps trying to teach him to talk like a man or sing like a man because he's got a high, squeaky 5-year-old voice. And it's very, very funny that he can't go low enough.
Okay, we have to give a shout out to the Cliquers 23 minutes in.
23 minutes in.
That's not bad. Surely we've done it later than that before.
Man, I don't think we have. This might be a record.
I'm pushed play, but it's not going.
It's going.
Here,
Right.
it's going. It's great.
You can sing along if you want.
Clap
but you
your
don't
hands.
have to. Yeah, everybody clap your hands.
Clickers will make us
They'll all
chill.
be off.
Is it off?
Why we're here. Clickers have got mad skills.
I'm dead on the beat right now.
Clickers have give us chills. Clickers are all the rage. Clickers are live backstage. Clickers are fresh and clean. Clickers are lean and mean. Clickers are on the scene.
Now, in a few years after we blow our vocal cords out, that's going to go, Clickers are on the scene. So we love all of our Clickers in no particular order this week. All together, we're going to say the names of Aaron
Aaron Bubbles.
Love.
And Sarah.
Sarah Kessler.
Just trying to get it
Sounds
in.
Silas would say.
If you would like to be a clicker and have this music dedicated to you, just go to johnbrandy.com. You can sign up. You can support us with a few bucks a month. That would be great. And we'll be able to pay for all of this fancy software and equipment. Look at this equipment that we got. We got microphones and stuff and cameras.
I brought my own equipment, though. I don't want you taking credit for it. This is my microphone. See this
Right.
there?
You clickers had nothing to do with.
I just wish you had a different word. It sounds like an epithet.
Oh,
Clicker?
Yeah.
we're owning it though.
Yeah, I guess so. It's all right, then. It's all right.
Well, we
Yeah, I
picked the
guess
word.
so.
We picked the word "click" on purpose.
Yeah.
Because,
No, click. Yeah, it's a good word. I just maybe it was your tone.
Probably is.
Soften your tone.
It's
You need a more
usually my
winsome tone
tone.
when you. Yeah.
Right. So, by the way,
Say
someone
clicker.
commented earlier, John. They were trying to say a nice thing about you. It was one of the commenters, one of the clickers, and said that you're young at heart. And I laughed to myself because there is not a single stand-up comedian who has ever existed who's young at heart. That's entirely contrary to the discipline.
I am not disagreeing
Like
with
being an
you.
artist who doesn't like painting, who's grossed out by depictions of things.
So, like a stand-up comedian is not young at heart. What are they? They're old. and
Right. If you're
crank
cynical
over,
at age
right.
7, you will be a good stand-up.
You're on
Walks
your
into
way.
the kitchen with a lit cigarette. I don't know, Ma.
You already have angst by age 8.
Yeah.
You're
But yeah,
on
and
your
even,
way.
What's
even if
the
it's a
deal with-
jovial annoyance, like you can't think things are great. And be a comedian. That's like you're not gonna have a stand-up career if you just walk up to the club and you're like, you know what I really like is peppermint ice cream. Have you guys had that before? It's really
And
good.
Barney.
Yes, yeah, I guess.
This kid's not going to do comedy.
It's not gonna-
You know, it's funny
not gonna
now that
work.
you say that. I remember being like in grade school and having, I didn't know at the time, but having like a 2-minute bit. It was a 2-minute rant about the Neil Sedaka lunchbox that another kid carried.
Okay.
You should bring that back.
And
I
that
feel
should
like
have been.
you could make that work.
He makes me defend my position about him being an old man from the moment he came out of the womb, and he's sitting on anecdotes like that.
In his
I've never
defense,
thought about it.
in his defense, if no one was taking care of the Neil Sedaka lunchbox and putting it on notice, then he
Right.
was the only one to do it.
No,
That
everybody
was-
else. Everybody else was just carrying their lunch to school like they were supposed to, but I was the one who was judging the containers. Like they were,
What the heck is it? What was? That's the other thing is like lunchboxes aren't a thing now. That used to be.
No.
The epitome of your status. One of your status.
Oh yeah,
points was
that was a big
lunchbox.
decision at the beginning of the year. Is like, what, were you going
Yeah.
Batman? Were you going Ninja Turtles? Or like whatever it was. It was a
Or Neil
huge
Sedaka.
decision.
you got
You had to choose between Neil Sedaka and Perry Como.
Well, that was part of the bit, It's Spider-Man and it's Thor and it's
Right.
Television SWAT, the television show, and all
Ooh,
that. These
yeah.
are lunchboxes, and then Neil Sedaka. How did he make it into the lineup?
And he would say stuff like that to other kids, and they'd just blink at him. But then he'd go and tell his mother's bridge club, and they would all cackle.
I was
So
pretty.
funny.
I was pretty good at making old ladies laugh when I was a kid.
You're both boomers.
Yeah.
Boomers. I don't care what Google says.
Boomers at heart. We should have fought in World War II.
That's because boomers can make the greatest generation. Are they the greatest generation? What's above me?
No, that's the greatest
Boomers-
generation. Is their
Boomers are
is
the
their
ones
name.
after the World War II
Right.
fighting people. 'cause
I
that's
feel like that's not
all
a
the
good.
soldiers came home.
That's not a fair name to
Baby
give
boomer.
anyone. No, yeah,
I
the
didn't
greatest
give it to 'em.
generation. No, I'm not blaming
Oh.
you. Whoever did.
Even the greatest generation is probably like, hey, let's put the brakes. I don't know about the greatest.
Whoa!
You're also like you're not the greatest generation if you raised the worst generation. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's true.
They got their
So-
name before their kids were able to be properly
Right? Yeah.
evaluated.
Yeah. We counted the votes on that way too early.
Right. Right. We should wait and see if they turn out to
We
be
put
the little-
FDR in the office 4 times.
Oh, my dinner is here.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What is it?
Aw.
You gonna hold it up?
Leftover green bean casserole.
were, were you? Was that all you were getting?
I love this stuff. Well, I'll probably have some more out in between effort partying now, but yeah, I'll eat some of this
You
right
have
now.
waves. Are you getting waves for dinner?
I usually
actually-
do.
Hans, we actually had 2 green bean casseroles at Thanksgiving. Two
You did.
different
cans.
green
Wow.
bean casseroles.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
allowed to
it.
say
Yep.
which one's better, or you get in trouble for that?
We sent him a
Well, it's
picture of
supposed to be a
one. We
competition.
we took a picture and sent it to, and he sent it back as a Van Gogh or a Monet.
Yeah,
or
it,
something.
it looked like an impressionist painting of sadness.
Oh, was it
Like
Right.
dying
Oh.
crops in a
Reflects.
field.
This one's for you, Amber.
This is for you. All right, so we-
Everybody was only supposed to eat mashed potatoes, by the way. That was our agreement. Whatever
Oh, did
won
we
this
agree about
Thanksgiving,
that?
we only
Oh, that's
ate
right,
the
yeah.
one dish.
yeah, that we did make that deal. Wish I had some green bean
That's right,
casserole.
Kathy.
I don't
I'm
even
not
All
even
right.
sure what
think.
this means.
Oh, go ahead.
So tonight's game
He doesn't
is
like green
a
bean
little
pie.
game called "What's Missing."
Ooh.
Christmas 2023.
I don't know. I
edition.
need to see that animation again. The Christmas tree animation. This is the
Okay.
most we've had. Is it because our budget went up? Is that why we were able to?
It's because we got
Mm-hmm.
more clickers. Yeah. So
Oh, thank you for that animation, clickers.
yeah,
You gotta scroll
you can
through.
thank the clickers fest. There we go.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's like magic.
That's not the sort of
One's for you, Karen and Sarah.
that's
Thank
not
you.
the sort of stuff we could afford to do if it wasn't for the clickers. I mean, if we didn't have a budget.
Appreciate it.
you
Juwan,
wouldn't
have you
see
guys
it.
done a Christmas album?
We have 2 Christmas albums. Thanks for asking.
Which
Go
of
out.
them was
One's
more
more-
of a blatant cash grab?
The second one was the EP, so that may have been the one we threw together.
No, I think you're allowed to do it because you're a Christian group. But that's always
Yeah,
the thing
right.
when you're like, wait, who's
You actually
Slayer
celebrate
put out a Christmas album? Like, I don't know.
we actually
How many-
celebrate Christmas.
How many Christmas albums did Elvis put out?
I think once they
You have more than Elvis?
It's hard to say because they would like the record companies in those days would just put out 8 million things. So it's hard to
yeah,
know
they were
what
just
counts.
throwing they were
Right.
throwing spaghetti at the wall back then, like even with
Yeah.
tours and stuff. The whole movie with Joaquin Phoenix doing Johnny Cash, that's something I opened up for me. I was like, man, they didn't know how to do touring back then. They just got on a bus
Right.
and drove
Right.
as far as the cocaine would carry them.
Well, now you just need a single,
they
and
broke
they'll
down.
put you like in a collection with other people. So as long as you just
Oh,
do
yeah,
one
yeah.
song, then you can be part
Yeah,
of an
one song,
album
baby.
with other celebs.
And then you're putting your blood
And
in
only
your shoes and
and
selling
only
them.
boomers buy albums.
right.
Everybody else just listens
Pirates
to,
them.
to Spotify songs that default to shuffle, which
That's hilarious.
which is like the most evil.
You gotta
Now we just have AI give us a song that sounds similar.
you
It's
got
in
a
the same
grandma
style.
shuffling in the Best Buy.
Yeah. No, look, if
Excuse
you
me,
if you
where
went
can
to
I
a
buy
movie, you go to a
Oh, yeah.
movie and they just show 11 scenes out of order.
Oh,
And they're like, that's how movies are now. Oh, did you want to see the movie where all of the scenes go in the order that they go? Then you have to pay extra.
yeah. Well, that's
You
called
wanted
YouTube.
all of the scenes.
You don't
in
even
there.
have to go to a movie now. You just go to YouTube and
Yeah,
watch them clip by clip.
yeah,
Oh, this was a good clip.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that you guys sound like boomers.
Oh,
not
put up
me.
Luke's.
'Cause you're-
Yeah. So they're the Kids Bop version, the Christian Kids Bop version. I think it's called Worship for Kids or something like that. Or
Now, isn't there a now that's
no.
what I call worship?
yeah.
Wasn't there one of those?
So we've been on those. We've been on some of those other
I
compilations.
bet you have. And
There's
let me
a
tell you,
Christian-
Juan,
We have a VeggieTales did Who Am I? I might need to look that up.
I
for the
complained
after
about
party.
this last season, and I don't know if you remember, but it still hasn't gotten resolved. So I just want you to know, I still have my alarm clock somehow set to Pandora, which is somehow set to a Casting Crown station. I can't
This
get
is
it
a
to change,
complaint?
and it keeps playing "Praise You in This Storm." No matter what I do, it just keeps playing it over and over and over again. It's driving me crazy, and I can't
It
get it to stop.
sounds to me like that's the spirit.
It feels like this is a trial that I'm going through. I'm not really sure what to do. Could you help me out?
Do you, well,
What should I do when things
Is it
are cloudy?
you had
And
a
every
trouble,
morning
like,
I feel like it's like I wake up to a
there's
storm.
another-
What should I
there's
do?
Another
You should
storm.
praise him in the storm.
There's another atmospheric disturbance.
I really did think
Over
of it
my
earlier
head.
this week when I was like kind of under my breath, like, what is wrong with this thing? And I'm like, oh,
I think what
praise
happened
him in
was
the
that
storm.
Juan got control of your Pandora settings, and she's like, "This is an easy way to get a little 15 cents extra in their
I
next
gotta-
royalties."
I got a
That's
story.
gotta be it.
That reminds me of a
Pay
story.
the premium. So-
We were doing a interview at a radio station, and East to West is one of our songs, and it was doing very well. And so the DJ was like, "Hey, so we're gonna play a trivia game, and if you get the question right, we'll play whatever you want. And if you get the question wrong, we'll play East to West again." So it was, as punishment.
Why would he do that?
It was a kind of a joke that he was like, because it'd been being played so much.
It's doing really well.
Yeah.
So my favorite Juan DeVivo moment for the last week was when Juan goes onto Facebook and posts the picture of them getting their 20-year award. He goes, "And we're not slowing down," and his Casting Crowns are getting an award, and everybody's in the picture except for the DeVivos. There's no DeVivos.
Well,
in the picture.
the DeVivos might be slowing down a little bit. Casting Crowns as a whole, on average,
Wait.
still same velocity.
On the whole, not us. All right, so how this game works, if you've never seen it before, it's pretty simple. I will show you some pictures. This is a Christmas theme.
What?
And you have to identify what is missing. You have to tell me what's missing in the picture. And so
Are we buzzing in?
apparently,
Oh, wait, let's see the emanation. That's something else.
there we go. There's the first one.
Oh, my goodness.
That is a poster that everybody, including people who are not boomers, should be familiar with. You recognize this, don't you, Peach?
Yeah, but I can't remember what he's holding.
That's a bit of his toilet paper, I think.
Is it a tiny Christmas tree?
I think. Do you want jokes or the answer?
Do you know the answer?
I believe he's holding like one of those like a red ball ornament,
Oh, okay.
That sounds right.
standard default Christmas tree ornament.
Jeff
And-
thought it was a dog.
Hey, I was right.
Yeah.
I was going to say grenade painted like mistletoe.
Yeah, once he said it, that seemed right. But I was thinking it was a tree at first, kind of like Christine.
He not only identified the ornament, but he knew what color it was too. So,
Well done.
A bunch of people knew.
all right, here's another one. A
That's
little
tricky.
bitty.
That's a drinking fountain. That was before COVID, though,
Thank you.
because you can't do those anymore, those drinking fountains.
Is it Santa?
Well, I think
That's
it's the girl. It's either Yukon Cornelius or the girl.
Oh, yeah.
Hermie.
Reindeer. What's her
Oh.
name?
Victoria.
That
No.
sounds. I mean, that's not right, but it should be.
Yeah, that's the. I was
Is
gonna
it
say
Feline?
Hermie. Yeah.
Or is that her name? Or is that a different deer?
Polina.
I don't think anyone
Feline.
is named Feline.
What's your name?
That's in
Like
another
like
movie if it's not that
feline,
one.
but pronounced
Feline.
Feline.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in All Dogs Go to Heaven, I think. Her name was
No, it's
Chimera,
not.
obviously. Chimera.
Chimera, the female deer. Some of the,
Chimera.
Clarice.
female
Or no,
deer.
it's no. It's
Clarice.
it's the elf who doesn't want to make Hermie.
Hermie.
His name is Hermie. It's
I want to
Hermie.
be a dentist.
Yeah, I bet it's
Yeah.
Hermie.
Some of the clickers got it. And
No,
Yeah.
I'm
I always
good
thought
at
it
this
was
game.
Oh,
weird
Clarice
'cause
is right, yeah.
Certainly,
That's what I was
up there, they have a need for a dentist. I don't know why.
Everything
everybody's
about
like, "You need a big toy."
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is awful. Like, so
Look, I was
there's
trying to.
nothing.
I was trying to relate to my
Everything-
kids. Well, I was trying to relate to my kids how we really didn't have any choice over. We were so excited that
Right.
just any Christmas special was. It's 8:30.
Oh yeah, no, I
Everybody
watched
turn
it
the
and
TV
very
on.
excitedly watched it every year when it came on. But I would always get mad when Santa would go, "Oh, the snow is so bad, we're gonna have to cancel Christmas." And 5-year-old me was like, "Christmas is about Jesus, and you don't get to make that decision."
You ain't canceling nothing, Santa Claus.
But then also, like, and then you get older, and you're like, "You live in the North Pole. It's nonstop darkness." In the part of the world that you chose to live in to build your toy factory, how do you not have a contingency plan for snow?
Bad weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not figured out lighting yet.
You know, I was
There's
just
not
my,
even solid land up there. It's just ice.
Yeah.
It's just you're living on shelves. There aren't trees.
my
up there.
son
They
and
did
I
not
were
think this
just criticizing the song too, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed, the old
Right.
school
Oh, the actual
Rudolph the
song.
Red-Nosed Reindeer song,
Right.
because it starts off with literally naming all of the other reindeer
Right,
that
yeah.
everybody forgets, but it says you know them, you know Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen and Comet and Cupid and
But
Donner and Blitzen. But do you
But do
recall
you recall?
The most
the
famous.
most famous reindeer of all?
Yes,
No.
you know all the ones that no one knows.
His name
do you-
escapes me.
You know James K. Polk and James Buchanan.
Right.
But have
Millard
you heard
Fillmore.
of George Washington?
Right.
You know who's on the $75 silver coin. But
Do you
have you
recall-
heard of the $1 bill?
Abraham
The
Lincoln.
one that literally everyone knows because that's what the word famous means.
Right.
Right. They
So
should
that doesn't make any sense. Santa's a jerk who
Yeah.
has no regard for Rudolph
Yep,
until
that's
he's
what he
useful to
says.
him.
Yep.
Yeah, Santa's
Now,
not nice.
it's a fairly easy fix for that song because it's just it's just the wrong word.
Right.
It's like you may know Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen, but now
The
we're going to
most
tell you
helpful
about
reindeer
the
of all.
right, the
Right.
most obscure.
All you had to do was
reindeer-
think for 3 seconds.
oh, we didn't until this
That's
song.
like that's like when you hear people will go like, "Hey, I saw this the other day." Someone goes, "You know that song Spirit in the Sky? That guy wrote that song in 15 minutes." And you go, "I 100% believe that because there was no effort put into that song."
Do you know what happens when you die?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah,
go right
yeah,
up
yeah,
to the sky.
Spirit in the sky,
Right.
where I'm gonna go when I die. Yeah.
Right.
Well, there was a song in the disco era, which none of you guys will remember, but it was called "Get Down, Boogie Oogie Oogie." You remember
Yeah.
that song?
Oh,
And then
right.
I saw a comedian
Yeah.
do it. He was writing it at the piano. He's writing it down.
Oogie,
Get down, boogie oogie oogie. Get down, boogie oogie oogie. And then he'd pause and he'd look at this and he'd go, "Get down, boogie oogie oogie."
That's how I feel with that Spandau Ballet song "True," right? And I forget what the lead up to it is, but it's like one of the lines is, "Why do I find it hard to write the next line?" And then it's like, "Oh, I want the truth." And and as an amateur songwriter, I hear that and I'm like, "I know what you just did there. You were writing the lyrics and went, oh, why do I find it so hard to write the next line?" And then you go, "Nah, that'll work." And then you just
Your little wink to the audience. I know
Yeah.
what you're doing.
yeah.
Your game is
I
up
guess-
now, pal.
Scratch that. It wasn't as hard as I thought.
But I
All right, here
wrote a
we go.
next one.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the leg. Leg lamp.
I'm going to find for you, while you guys are talking about this one, I'm going to find for you a picture of 10-year-old Hans, and you can see how I looked exactly like Ralphie from A Christmas Story.
Do they make you wear a pink rabbit jumpsuit or what?
I
is it?
thought that's what that was. Our copy of this has him in his pajamas.
Oh,
In his
it's
rabbit pajamas.
Ralphie. It's a close up of Ralphie right here. I think.
Yeah,
He's just
it's
going,
probably him in
With
the
soap.
bunny suit.
Does he have
No.
soap in his mouth?
No, he's just smiling. He's just a smiling away. You know they're selling actual like a Red Ryder BB guns at Walmart now, like in the box that he sees. It's pretty cool. Ralphie.
Tabby says he's got a Santa hat.
Okay, now
She
we're
didn't
getting
even say
into detail.
Ralphie. She said the kid with the
That
Santa
kid.
hat. She's so
Or
young.
is it the
that
leg?
she
It's not the
doesn't
leg
know his
lamp,
name.
is it?
That's what Juan said.
Oh wait, no,
was my
that's
first
already in
guess.
one of the that's already in one of the ornaments there.
But it's in the ornament. But you know, this is all
I
about
think there's
Ralphie.
different
The Red Rider BB gun.
covers.
You
Yeah,
know
it's
what
gotta be. I bet it's the BB gun.
Has anyone read the short story? Apparently, it was based on a.
It was. It's
Short
written by.
Did you see the second one?
It was not.
Just came out?
It was regrettable.
Do you know where it was set, Hans?
Yeah, it takes place in Northwest Indiana, like in Hammond. I mean, Hammond is where the house is.
South Bend.
That's where it takes place? Is South Bend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the guy.
You can buy the house because it's in a terrible neighborhood.
It's in Ohio.
Everyone's like, "Hey, do you want to come Airbnb the Christmas Story house?" And people are like, "Yeah," and then they drive up to it and they go, "I don't. I'm not."
This is
gonna stay
crap.
here."
Yeah.
Yeah, refund sounds good.
And then it makes him want to beat up Scott Farkas.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gene Shepard was a Hoosier. Little
That's right.
trivia for you there. And those of you who guessed
Oh,
Ralphie,
it's just more Ralph. All
back in.
right, so keep that in mind. I don't have one kind of framed the same way, but here we go. Hold on.
Did you
And
have
Peter Billingsley.
Here
did you
is
have
that's about 9-year-old me.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Oh my
Oh,
stars!
Yeah, I would have been a good Ralph.
you're a good-looking kid. I don't know.
Damn.
John made it
I-
sound like
I
you
needed
should
glasses
learn
that
Michigan
big to
business.
correct the vision in my cheekbones.
Oh, big glasses.
Why did they
big-
make them so big back then? They're just like
No, I
they're
don't
just
think they
down
had,
to
did.
here.
Did they have kids' glasses? Because I don't think they made kids' socks either.
Oh,
Right.
no,
They just
right,
made
yeah.
Glasses, and you had to
Right,
wear them.
yeah.
You had to wear them.
You just had a kid face. That was the problem. All right, here we go. This is another thing.
Oh.
Oops, what happened?
Oh, I know what that is.
kicked
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I'm the only one who
he's
can
next
see
to Santa there. Yeah,
it. It's looking
when
at
he's
Santa.
freezing up the ho 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 bit.
Are you sure that's not next to the
Or an
elf? It's
elf.
going, kid, hurry up,
Yeah.
kid, the star's closing. Hey, really, I can hear the director going, really work that bell. I need you to work the bell on that hat and just swing your head around. Because everybody talks like this.
Everybody else says it's Santa.
Everybody. So you guys are
How
pretty
about a
familiar.
nice
Everybody's
football?
pretty familiar with the Christmas Story. That wasn't
Yeah.
even very hard. All right,
There
there he
goes
was.
Santa.
For a
It
department
was directed
store
by
Santa.
Bob Clark, who the year before directed Porky's. And that's a weird shift. For
That
me
is.
to go
I
from,
want to
yeah.
go more into kids' movies. Oh, my gosh.
Is this the Jack Frost movie? I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine that's got to be the Snowman.
No, it's a keg. See the way he's holding it? He's like, kid, nothing says Christmas like an outdoor snow-drenched beer keg. It's because he starts off the film, he's a bad dad, right?
Oh,
And he
okay.
dies and he comes back as a snowman. This is the part where he's a bad dad.
This is how he
Okay.
learns not to be an alcoholic.
He's having a kegger out in his front yard with his son.
With his 10-year-old
It's
son.
one of the things he has to learn.
It's a hard lesson, but that's what gives it a narrative arc.
Right. Teaching his
That's
son
why
how
we're
to
so
field
happy.
dress the neighbor's dog.
You gotta get right up into that rib cage, kid.
No, it's not a horror movie, Sherry. Although he is objectively creepy as a snowman.
Or he's not that warm as a dad either. Look, at
I've never
his-
seen that movie. Yeah.
Like because
I-
his
Cross.
face moves like when he talks, like
It's
his
early.
cheeks move.
Is it physical or is it CGI? I'm trying to remember now.
No, this is before the
it's
days of
physical.
Like a-
CGI.
it was
It's
like
practical
a-
effects.
Yeah, practical. That's what it was.
Yeah, and so
just
like it's a
got
puppet looking thing,
animated.
but like its face kind of moves in weird ways you wouldn't expect. Yeah, it's kind
You wouldn't expect a snowman's face to move. With the muscular structure of most snowmen, you would expect
Okay.
them to be.
It reminds you know what it reminds me of is the same the same cheeks as Chucky, the Chucky doll, because it's like
Because it's just
Right.
kind of rubber. And it goes,
yeah, but it's supposed to look like snow and it doesn't. So
Right. Well, everybody who said that this was a snowman is correct.
Oh,
There he is.
I like Juwan's version of the film more.
with the
it was
cake.
flesh
he had
that
to
out a
learn.
bit, Juan. We'll pitch
on-
it to our
keep
friends in
working
the
on it.
film industry.
Don't mind my typewriter sound as we go through the rest of the.
That happens quite a bit when we play this game. Is Juwan comes up with a better version than real reality.
I can go off on a tangent. Whoa.
This is
What?
Elf.
What is
So that's
Oh.
that's
What is
got,
this
yeah,
expression?
got to be
I've
Buddy
never-
the elf next to them, I imagine.
Mm.
James
Or-
Caan and Amy Sedaris. So that's
Or the short guy.
Miles Finch.
Miles.
Miles
Very good.
Miles
Yes.
Finch. I've only seen the movie like 100 times. By the way, 20th anniversary this year
Wow.
of the movie Elf. Yeah, it doesn't
That's
even feel like
insane.
crud. So
That's
that
nuts.
kid, Buddy the Elf. With that expression, it seems like so she's a little worried, but he's a little bit amused. So,
Right.
I don't know because it seems like
He may be having an aneurysm though.
Yeah, there you go. He's having a
James
stroke.
Caan.
So the left side
Not
of
a
his face
fan. Yeah.
is drooping.
He warms up to Buddy in the end. I don't want to spoil it, but that would be an interesting director's cut of Elf, which is like he just disowns his son at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually know the exact line
it
that's
should have
being
ended.
said.
Yeah, this is a. I always, guys know I get yelled at for making these too hard, and so
No, what?
yeah.
I don't yell at you. I think it's funny.
Oh,
No.
that'll be Gizmo.
That's his second.
Gremlins.
What are you talking about? That's his second head. He's got a conjoined twin back there.
Yeah.
It keeps him in a
Mandy-
backpack.
Mandy made a face. You don't have any idea what this is, do you?
Well, if Gizmo is the name of the gremlin, isn't it?
No.
No.
Okay, hold on.
No.
Gizmo's
No.
the name of the
No, no, no.
Mogwai. If a Mogwai
Wrong.
eats after midnight,
Then it's a gremlin.
then
Okay.
it turns into a gremlin.
Okay,
But
so
Gizmo
gonna go
remains in his pure,
Gremlins,
unpupated
the
state. I
movie.
regret saying that. I did not like the way that
I
that
don't like
sounded.
pupated.
Unpupated is not a pleasant thing.
He jumped all over that. He goes, "No, hold on. Gizmo is not."
He's not a gremlin.
Yeah,
Okay.
Uh, I would not have been able to come up with the species like you did.
yeah. I'm trying to remember that actor's name, and I don't.
That guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know that
I had a
Phoebe Cates
gremlin-
is in that movie.
Yeah, see,
I
that's
enjoyed.
what we all know.
Yeah. We all love Phoebe Cates. We
But
miss you,
that-
Phoebe. Get back into the acting realm if you have
Is
the time.
this his name, or or
Hoyt
am I
Axton.
misunderstanding this comment?
Sounds
It's not. No. The dad was Hoyt Axton.
Oh,
He was the
Oh.
inventor. His dad was. Yeah. He was
It
great.
sounds
Oh,
like-
okay.
That sounds
Yeah.
like you. That sounds like a jumble, a word jumble.
Yeah.
What's
Look at
what's
it.
going
There's
on
Gizmo.
here? I can't remember.
Well-
Chester Wheatfield. Is that it?
Now, all right, hold
Or
on.
is she doing what we did the other day when we were trying to come up with British names on the fly?
Chester Wheatfield is in his backpack.
I want to say the guy's name is Zach something. I'm looking. Zach Galligan. I was so close. All right. If I would have had 4 hours, I could have come up with that.
I want to see it. AI generated
All right. Gizmo rock album cover. All right. Let's see
He's
what
gonna
we can
have
do
a.
here.
I guarantee you, he's gonna have a headband. He'll be playing a Telecaster. They're gonna go 80s rock with it. If you just
You think,
rock.
you think Gizmo
you
would
wanna-
play a Telecaster?
If we put a genre on there, if you don't put a genre, yeah, they'll go 80s Bruce Springsteen with them. If you put
Well,
a
what-
genre,
It'd be great if
All
we
right.
could combine the two. You get Kenneth
Juan.
Copeland and Gizmo doing like a duel.
Juan, without looking anything up, immediately give us the most British name
British?
you can think of.
John Chesterton Field.
In Chesterfield.
Chesterton Field.
Yep. You can put your British names in the comments too, as long as you don't Google. And I can't remember why, except somebody said something like they said stock, or they said
Nigel Forehand.
biscuits instead of cookies. That was it. Somebody asked if we were having
Nigel
biscuits.
Worthington.
And I was like, only if your name is Arthur Bedenberg.
Bedinburg.
I was
Yeah,
like, why would
Arthur,
you just use the
Nigel.
most British name? Tabby goes, only if you call the trunk a boot.
Trunkaboot. Do you mind sharing your package of Trunkaboot with our...
Harold
Would you mind Kennedy
Snodgrass.
opening the boot?
I think
So
someone just
Furbies-
said Gizmo looks like a Furby. I think didn't the
Snodgrass.
Furbies get sued
That's
by
what I've-
whoever?
Yeah.
owns the-
Furbies, yeah.
Yeah, because it was absolutely a 100%
They were-
rip-off of that.
That's right. Because her husband Joe called the ornaments baubles.
Baubles?
And we made fun of him.
You can only call them baubles if your name is Arthur Bedenberg.
Who are you,
I had a-
Chester Worthington?
I took the baubles and the baubles and
Baubles.
It's amazing anybody ever talks in this family because it doesn't matter what you say.
We will shame them right out of that.
bauble, and we put him on the lift. We decorated the tree.
Right.
Put it on the lift.
Let us just
Look at
just
all the-
run and
Took us up
Look
to
at all
the
the
flat.
bits and baubles on the Yule tree.
it's tea time.
Baubles and bits.
Just put that last bauble on the tree and we'll have your spot of tea, dear.
Well, the last time that we had Roger Montague, last time Roger showed up, when we showed up the slide that it's talking about trick or treating, and he went over the shalls and shants.
Instead of the
Shalls and shants.
Harold Remington Darcy the
Oh
Third.
yes! Wow. You guys are getting off.
I have a
Ooh,
real English
Flanders
ancestor
Calloway,
named
that's a good one.
Flanders Calloway.
Wow.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's pretty British.
Pretty British.
Yeah.
It's Flanders Calloway.
Sir Tory Palington.
So my roommate in college did a study abroad in England for like a month, and when she came back, she was like, hands down, best part. She went everywhere. Like, she saw all the sights and got to, take all these pictures, and she goes, most British thing that happened. We were sitting at dinner with my host family, and the 15-year-old kid, their son, was like complaining about having to get braces because he thought it was going to make him not look cool. And the father puts his fork down and goes, now, James, you don't want your teeth coming out all wonky, do you? And we died, and I've never forgotten it. It's been like 15
Wonky.
years.
We are British, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Now, James.
Now, James.
We're trying
So
to
I've
break
got,
that barrier.
I told this to do Gizmo as a psychedelic album cover.
Okay.
And,
here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Bell bottoms.
Put that bad boy up.
Probably
Yeah,
bell-
There it
Whoa!
Oh, wow. It looks like a
not bad.
troll.
The bottom
Yeah.
left looks like a Katy Perry, like he's trying to be Katy Perry. The top right one actually looks kind of like the animated relaunch, like the Saturday morning kids
Yeah.
cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we
man.
got
Okay.
we got a couple more of these here. There you go.
Oh no, we don't need to see. what's in
Oh.
there. Tiny
Is
Is it
Tim.
Tiny Tim?
Is
or,
under that-
or is it the big giant goose? That,
Or is it,
gets the goose at the end,
It's one of the pigs.
It's a
from
pile
space.
of money. Oh, wait. No, he's past that.
What's the boy pig's name that always was Miss Piggy and Pigs in Space? It was like Fred or something. He's got
don't
a.
remember.
He's under that with an apple in his
It's
mouth.
Lance, isn't it? Isn't
That's-
his name Lance?
This is like third tier Muppet trivia right here. Like we're way deep.
Everybody thinks it's a turkey or a goose or some other kind of bird, except Tabby thinks it's the Swedish Chef.
Oh, that's a good guess.
That is a good guess.
It's got to be a Muppet. To me, I thought it was going to be a Muppet.
Remember
under
when the
there.
Swedish chef had his own breakfast cereal?
What?
It was called Crunchy Stirs. I'm not making that up. That's Crunchy Stars. It's Crunchy Stirs. Crunchy Stirs.
I would have eaten that if I'd have known it existed.
Oh my gosh. Well,
You sure would
I
have.
guarantee you can find a box of it.
Crunchy
we-
Stew.
When we were trying to ship Cocoa Puffs to Canada.
Oh, yeah. I got it here. Don't worry.
Amazon. though?
Congratulations, everybody that guessed Goose. Congratulations. to you.
Oh, that's a letdown.
You were supposed to think it was a Muppet. All right. How
Oh,
about
I
this?
know what that is. I'm
Oh, that's when they've got
100%
Kevin hung on the door,
Yep.
about to murder him.
Not quite yet. Oh, yeah, he's about to put. Well, he's going to bite his fingers off first.
Yes.
Mhm.
Jesse, when we showed Jesse this the first time, he was so funny. He was like, "Oh, that would have killed somebody." He was like,
Right.
he didn't believe any. He wasn't taking
Yeah.
any of it in. It did not. It did not suspend his disbelief for 1 second. He's like, "Oh, they'd be dead right now." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's like a cartoon."
Just relax. This may be the only movie I ever saw 3 times in the theater.
Wow.
That's why I made so much money. Because that's I
just
Macaulay Culkin and I are
Macaulay
the same
Culkin.
age.
Did you
Yeah.
know that he? Did you know that he polled the internet to try to figure out what his new middle name should be?
Yes.
Oh, what was the
Yes,
answers there?
The answer was Culkin Macaulay. So his
Right.
name is Macaulay Culkin, Macaulay Culkin.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. But some of the other suggestions were also pretty good, and he changed it to just. It's Macaulay Culkin. Is that right, or is it Macaulay
something
Culkin?
like that, yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
His
I can't
middle
remember.
name was actually his first and last name, so it was
Right.
like Macaulay Culkin. Yeah.
Right, I think that's right. But I'll have to look. I always have to look it up again to remember what they settled on, because some people suggested he should just swap the first letters of both of those and change it to Kamali Mulkin or something.
Macaulay Culkin.
Right.
Never ask the internet. Never ask the internet what it
There
thinks.
we go. Yeah.
There you go.
don't ask.
So here I'll show you. I'll show you crunchy stirs. There you go.
Oh
It's a
wait,
real thing.
You
You
gotta
can
put it
buy
I
out
it.
gotta pull it up.
Okay. Unfortunately, Crunchy stores were made in 1988, and they're not selling any on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
But I
It
remember.
actually says Crunchy Star.
Crunchy stirs.
and buy it $15.49. Okay,
Yeah.
that's on Amazon. I just looked it
That's
up.
for a magnet, though, not a box of that cereal.
Oh.
That would be an
Oh.
interesting.
So I babysat the
Man, these are really crunchy.
They're
the PG
crunchy.
kids last
Crunchy.
week,
Crunchy.
and when I took them before I took them to my house, we went to the store so that they could pick out breakfast cereal. And on the way, I was asking them, what's your favorite kind of breakfast cereal? And they were quick to say that Colin apparently doesn't care for Cheerios at all. It's like
No.
violently opposed.
No, he's
to Cheerios.
actually a bit autistic about it. Like if he
Yeah.
smells it or sees like soggy Cheerios anywhere in the vicinity, he will like cry a little bit.
And
Yeah.
so I said, okay, well, what about? And we were listing other cereals like Apple Jacks and blah blah, Raisin Bran and everything. And then Lucky Charms came up. What about Lucky Charms? And he went, no, that's just Cheerios with marshmallows. And I think he's right. Although I think Cheerios are wheat and the alphabets are oats. But anyway, I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that was
Cheerios
worth.
are also oats.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. They didn't
Well,
know.
your son is correct then. All right, here we go.
It's a Wonderful Life. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Something. What's the name of the town?
Falls.
Well,
Something
If
falls.
anybody who can remember what Gizmo is before he turns into a gremlin should know the name of the town in.
Okay. Well, I just said it a minute ago. It's a Mogwai. So if you're going to have me on the show, I'd appreciate it if you'd listen. But
I already forgot it.
Yeah.
I already forgot the Mogwai.
Menominee Falls.
Oh yeah, Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls.
Menominee Falls.
I don't.
Phenomena.
It's Bedford Falls.
An
right?
angel. There is an angel in that movie,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what that is.
This is easily like my favorite Christmas movie.
It is Jimmy
Love this.
Stewart raising his arms while being pregnant
Yeah.
or having a
You're-
large posterior.
You're right about everything except the pregnancy.
Okay. Oh, it's just the jacket.
You said to cover up his jacket, right?
Right.
And so I don't know why Juwan left. I think we made him mad.
He said he needed to step out for a second. He'll be back.
So we're almost done. I can't remember. Okay, so this is another scene from It's a Wonderful Life.
That
And,
is an angel, isn't it?
Isn't
cop.
that the guy who's gonna jump or whatever?
It's either the angel or the cop in that scene.
Well, now you're going to have to pick one. You
He's
can't
actually
say-
on that bridge twice.
John, let's hear
Where's-
your Jimmy Stewart impression.
No, not that. I want a big one.
Not bad. That's good.
You and Brian a couple of weeks ago were doing the moon. Do you want the moon?
What do you want, Mary? Do you want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it.
That's good. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Clarence. Is that the guy's name? The angel?
Yep. They're all saying it's
His name was
I don't think you spell it that way, but I know what you mean.
Clearance. He's very excited about a sale
the
on
Clearance Angel.
right on cast iron beams.
The angel's name
Steel
was
beams.
Mogwai,
Yeah,
if I recall correctly.
Now you're just
AKA
mocking me.
Gizmo.
No, I'm impressed.
And
You remember it.
the angel's name was Bobbles.
Bobbles the angel. It's actually the reason I put this in there was because I knew that there was going to be people who were going to go, "Oh, he's talking to Clarence," and there were going to be people who go, "No, it's not
It's
Clarence.
the cop.
It's the cop." But what's the cop's name?
I don't
Hans.
remember.
My mom loves this movie. I do not.
Are you ready, Juwan? Give me a
so
thumbs
I
up.
don't remember the name.
Why don't you love it?
Frank.
Don't you have a-
Frank.
I
It's Frank.
just always
It's
found
Frank.
it long and boring as a child.
Is Frank the cop's name?
What is it, Juwan?
I
Juwan
said
says it's
Frank. Oh, Bert. Bert. It's Bert. Everybody's saying Bert. They're right. It's Bert.
You're right.
But
It's
do you
Bert.
spell it with
Come on.
a U or an
It's the
E?
cop. There we go.
Is that
There
the? Is that the pedals, or is he just holding a?
Zuzu's
No, he-
pedals.
Is that the
His
pedals?
mouth is bleeding. So he's like, look, my mouth is
A
bleeding.
hamster. My hamster, Bert. Look at it.
I'm going to fish him.
My emotional support.
All right, this is the last one.
Oh, that's a tree.
yeah. The-
Snoopy
the-
has
the
left a little surprise.
fallen over tree. Yeah.
That's a tree.
Snoopy
Aw,
just
Snoopy.
went feral and murdered Woodstock. Just a pile of viscera and yellow
Hello,
feathers.
Snoopy.
Just blood and feathers.
Blood and Feathers is an album name.
Yes. That's actually pretty good.
Disposable hamster.
It's
Blood
great.
and feathers.
The Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, they eat a turkey at the end. I think we talked about this. Bird cannibalism.
Ooh, yeah,
Woodstock
that's
is
no
like
good.
chomping down on a turkey.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's no good.
Woodstock doesn't even have teeth.
So Macaulay Culkin did name himself Macaulay Culkin,
No.
and that beat out options like Shark Week, the McRib back, all one name, and publicity stunt.
oh. What? So they
Shark
it's,
Week.
So you got caught.
Macaulay Shark Week Culkin.
What was that story about the whales? We've told
Yes.
that before. Yeah.
It was
Star
OSHA,
Trek
or
movie?
not OSHA. That's the workforce. What's the one that does the sea, like the environmentalists?
Greenpeace.
Yes, Greenpeace was doing
Oh yeah, they named
was
it.
tracking a bunch of orcas, not killer whales, and they were allowing the internet to vote on a name for one of them, and it was multiple choice, and it was
The other
like,
ones had like Hawaiian names, like Hualahala and.
Well, it was like
and
the name for
Wanaha.
peace, like
Yeah.
the Hawaiian name for peace and stuff like that, and then
and they could pick anything for the last one.
no, they gave that was what was so stupid about it was Greenpeace actually
Or-
gave a fourth option that
or
they
you
thought was
write
just
it
a
in.
throwaway goofy. No, they included
Oh,
it.
that's
They
right.
were the ones
Included it.
who came up with it on their poll. They were like, here, you can name it peaceful
Awana.
or beauty
Yeah.
or you could name it Mr. Splashy Pants.
He'll never go for that.
And the internet voted, and these poor people, because it was like way back
like
at the
the-
early
wasn't
part of
even
Reddit.
close. It wasn't even close
Kinda
what they
like the
picked.
2016 election.
Yep.
Oops,
Yep.
sorry.
They had no idea. Like they were. It was so early in the years of internet voting
Yeah.
that they had no idea how
Surely.
that was going to work. And so the guy at Reddit, and the CEO and like the board at Reddit took it upon themselves to like make sure that Mr. Splashy Pants was the winner. And so it won by a landslide. And then Greenpeace, like, extended the voting thinking that would help, which like
That would
ticked
fix
off
it.
the people at Reddit because
Yeah.
they were like, we won fair and square. So they changed their logo to a Mr. Splashy Pants logo. Instead of that robot with the red eyes, it was like a red-eyed whale. And then when they extended the voting, they had a fist. They turned it into a fighting Splashy. And they were like
Splashy Pants.
committed, and it worked. They won.
That's so funny.
all right,
People
that's-
they just assume they're so out of it. They're just like, this is hilarious. It's a little funny thing we want to do. There's no way.
Oh, I have to show you what that is. I didn't actually show you.
We
You guys-
know what it is.
The bauble was too heavy. The bauble had toppled it.
That bubble's a bit too large. It's too cumbersome a bubble. All right, that's it. That's all we got.
Arthur, go pick up the tree. It's falling again. It's all wonky.
We'll be
Tannenbaum.
Charlie. You don't want the tree to grow up all wonky, do you?
Charles, our tree is all wonky again.
All right, let's
Isn't it?
close this thing.
Nah.
We are so late. We're so far past when we're supposed to be done. We don't know
We're
when
gonna
to
be-
stop.
We're going to be doing some more of these pictures throughout the holiday season because everybody seemed to enjoy it so much.
So many people.
All right, Peach. Oh, you're
I
just
don't
going to
know,
show
you-
us some stuff, and
Yeah, I'm just
We're gonna
splashing
do
them
our-
up there.
then we're going to do our credits with
If
British
you are in the
children.
audience and you're watching this and you're going to be in Minnesota in the first week of December, so will we, because we don't know what happens. Apparently nobody knows what happens in Minnesota in December. They thought, yeah, we'll be able to travel there with no problems
This is
whatsoever.
from last week.
It won't be like the planet Hoth. We won't have to rent tauntauns to get to the show.
I would go and see you guys if you rode out on Tauntaun.
You know who else played
Oh, I
Minnesota
would-
in December? Buddy Holly.
See? He was
I think that was actually
Headed-
February, but the
he
joke works.
headed
pretty
out
good,
to Minnesota. He was headed there.
February made me shiver with every paper.
Oh,
I
yeah,
read.
that's
We
right.
gotta- Our guitar player won't get on a helicopter for the reason is
What, I don't know. Are you reading these like a British father at the dinner table? I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to read them like Westchester.
Oh, no, Mel Beckham, but I don't like him. I think he's dumb.
Arthur, you can't let
He
your
made me a
redneck Almond-
tuna sandwich and I threw it in a bin.
Susan Johnson.
Who let in Michael
Okay.
Caine, Jamie Palmer?
Donald Ruse is all right. Bambi Shram, that's the best name I've ever heard in my life. I
Christine
like that one. Elaine
Yes.
Williams is no good. She's an old, I know,
Oh,
woman.
what
Pip, Pip,
money?
Pip,
Money for you.
Cheerio.
Pip. It is I, Paisley Rest Charlton Fielderson, saying good night and Merry Christmas and goodbye forever until next week.